That is right. It is wrestling time. We're here. There's been a lot going on. And what better place to start than a place that's doing a lot of roller coaster riding right now? We got AEW,
Uh,
the All Elite Wrestling, a lot going on. Moxley and Punk. There's backstage beef. Kenny Omega is back. Trios titles. There's injuries. There is so much to cover
suspensions.
with AEW. But what better place to start than the AEW All Out main event that is still slated to go down? Jon Moxley versus CM Punk after their hour 2 opening squash match. What was your reaction to just the whole thing? The fact that it wasn't the main event, and just take me through your vision on what the hell you saw Wednesday night.
I believe Punk is more injured, but like you saying this is still the main event.
That's what
Seeing
they
him get
felt,
squat, right? If
and he
this is
seems to
still
know
the
his
main event, I don't know what I was thinking. Right? Honestly, man kicked him in the head, sold the foot. I immediately was like, okay, he's gonna be out longer than they had expected, so they were just like, all right, let's get the interim off of Jon Moxley and just put him on the world heavyweight. Just make him not the interim. He is the world champ.
right.
And then you tell me it's still slated for this to be the main event.
Supposedly.
And that's when you said that just cheap pop. We get the cheap pop of it being in Chicago. It's cheap. If what they went for was Moxley winning in Ohio because it's where he's from,
And there's a lot of story with Ohio and Cleveland.
And then you have CM Punk go win it in Chicago just so the crowds are on the side of that. No, that literally it just cheapens it. Doesn't it? Like, in your opinion, doesn't that
Some
make
folks,
it makes it worse? Honestly, like, just give us a good match. If he can go, just wait till All Out. Just give us the 2 weeks of build up because the promo works were gonna be fire, and then of course that's when all the backstage is happening. Oh, okay, and then he comes out and gets squashed, but they're still saying he's okay to go at All Out. That's just gonna make people even more angry at the fact that Moxley is the guy. He beat Punk, he squashed Punk, and then they're gonna ride around a week later, give the title to Punk. Well, what does that say to the people backstage? Like, AEW is chaos, and that's what I love. I love the chaos. Like, they do tell a good story from time to time, but like when you watch it, I'm watching it to just be like, what the hell is that, right? Like, that's what it feels like right now.
No, 100%.
And it really does suck because once that, oh my God, what was that? Once that wears off, it's gonna be like, where are y'all at? And if your stories are Moxley squashes him, and then a week later we're giving the title to the guy who just got squashed, what does that actually say?
Yep. No, it is. I don't get it. I don't know what's gonna happen here with this whole title scene. I'm hoping it's not no TNT that we saw earlier this year, just getting flip-flopped around. It'll be very bad. But Billy Gunn recently came out and said, it's kind of like the Wild Wild West over here.
Yes, that is the best way.
Whatever
to
you
describe,
want,
yes.
when you want, kind of. There's not a whole lot of order. We just know TK kind of wants something set. He has a vision or whatever the hell it is. It's a little roughshod over there. But yeah, there is a lot that also goes into the story of CM Punk versus Cleveland. Shout out to the internet wrestling community that always does amazing work on bringing stuff up. The live event that he walked out of, the Raw, in Cleveland, Ohio.
No, of course.
His UFC debut match loses in Cleveland.
Okay.
And then he just so happens to get squashed in Cleveland. And I shit you not, I believe the UFC fight and the Raw taping, the Raw live show was in the same venue. I can't quite quote where AEW was, but long story short, Punk versus Cleveland, not very good. Not very good. And obviously we saw the crowd. It was gonna be tough. Punk coming back had an insane promo when he came back, whether he built heat, however you felt about it, it got people talking, obviously. Ohio was not feeling it. Obviously, Moxley hometown, it's home state of Ohio. There was loud boos. It's a lot going on, and it just feels like Chicago is going to be the place where they just go full circle, and then maybe we have the end all be all, maybe on just a random Dynamite or whatever. But potentially, I believe the end all be all trilogy might potentially conclude at this year's Full Gear, unless someone else ends up on the come up. But there's a lot. Heyman got
someone needs to be MJF, if we're being honest. Honestly, it does feel like
I don't know. I don't know.
It really does feel like MJF could save him. MJF could save.
Does he turn babyface at that point? He just comes in and just fucks everything up, and like, you guys just.
So
what happened? Does he?
If they are going for Punk, Moxley, right, and this is the Just Us fantasy, this is what I would love to see. This MJF comes on this Wednesday, right?
Yep.
He attacks Moxley saying something. Punk comes out. Something happens for MJF to come out. Or maybe even we wait, and then you get to the main event, and then Tony Khan comes out, and he's like, wait, hold on. Due to a contract now, someone else is being added. And that's when MJF comes out, or MJF just gets his way into the match somehow, right? And he does what Punk did, and he takes that belt, and he goes through the crowd. That would be kind of cool to see, right? That visual would be cool. And it's like Punk thought he was going to get his revenge on Moxley for squashing him. And then it kind of saves Moxley, I guess, a little bit because it's multiple people now. Right. And it is maybe he doesn't get pinned. Maybe Punk is still the one that's pinned, And then MJF does what he did to him, basically, and just dips with the title. And Punk's like, oh, now I know. Now I know what it feels like, right? To walk out. But yeah, it's tough. Like it really does feel like they backed themselves into a corner, and I don't know. You can't make everyone happy.
Nope.
But I do not know if
how
them giving Punk. Yeah, like I feel maybe the majority will be happy if Moxley wins, and it won't weaken the title belt, whatever you want to call it, right? But if you just give it right back to Punk after this man looks like he injured his foot again, oh, man, I don't know.
It feels like the foot is what's going to be the play. Like, oh, you only beat me because my foot's busted, whatever. And then we get that 20, 25-minute main event banger. And then, I don't know unless your proposition of a title versus career match is essentially on the line. And this is CM Punk's way of just, riding off in the sunset. I wasn't able to.
Loss, that'd be great.
Back-to-back loss. I mean, I don't know. There's a lot that's going to go on in this, and we're not going to really know until CM Punk comes out and is just like, I'm good enough to do it or whatever, because this is next weekend. They got a week to sort of let us know what's going on. I would assume probably nothing going to happen. Actually, tonight, we are getting some sort of CM Punk conversation video thing.
Okay.
We'll see what the hell is going to happen there, but a lot is still up in the air with this. We'll see how it goes. It's going to be exciting to predict everything.
Yes.
Next week, there's going to be so many matches to run through. I don't even know how much time that's going to take. That's going to be amazing. But from one champion to another, sadly, we are going to be crowning a AEW Women's Interim Champion for the time being, as Thunder Rosa. A lot going on, fake injury, real injury, being away. There's a lot going on. From what I've gathered, the most recent information today, she is legitimately injured, messed up a disc in her back, not long enough where she has to relinquish the belt altogether, but just enough where she will be back soon enough so they will have an interim champion. Reports also came out that Toni Storm was going to be crowned women's champion over Thunder Rosa anyways. So I think that gives us a bit of a precursor to what we're going to be seeing. Looks like Toni Storm wins that match and eventually unifies the championship.
Unfortunately,
she's
going to pin Shida.
But, ooh, boy, I don't know. As mentioned, it will be Toni Storm versus Hikaru Shida versus DMD, Britt Baker, and Thick Thighs, Thunder Thighs, Jamie Hayter, girl. Ooh. Anyways, It's gonna be. It's rather interesting. Sheeta's been off our TV for quite some time. She's been here or there, hit or miss.
They forgot she was a champion for their company, bro.
You know, I would rather Sheeta. She's been off TV and stuff like that than you insert just because you were going with the heel dynamic of having Hayter and Britt Baker in there. I'm glad they didn't just shoehorn in a Nyla or anything like that. Just make it a 3-on-1, like all heels loose type thing. It sort of adds the face to heel dynamic. We're gonna have a tag team match on Dynamite with these 4 competitors. Obviously, should be a rather interesting match. But I still would like the story of Hayter getting the pin on Britt Baker. Just that story is like dead at the moment, and I'm hoping it can continue because we're gonna have to build some women here that are AEW women, so to speak. You know, you have Britt, Thunder Rosa came over from NWA not too long ago. I think it was like a year ago.
Yes.
You know, coming around. You know, Chris Statlander's gone, and then you brought in Athena and Ruby Soho and all this. Like, let's get Jamie Hayter some build up here. Maybe give her a nice little something here. Don't think she's gonna win. Like I already said, it looks like Toni Storm is going to be our AEW Women's Champion for the foreseeable future. How's your vibes on this, man? It was an interesting, we were kind of trying to figure out what was going on. There was a lot of rumors backstage, a lot of politicking. Obviously, the internet wrestling community got involved. It's real fake. How you feeling about the whole more interim champions?
I'm all right with interim champions. Like, I know Bacon doesn't like it on Twitter. I know they're rather upset. But it allows for a storyline to already be in place for when a person comes back who was in a prominent feature. Unfortunately, they just got injured, whether it's their fault, no one's fault, whatever it was that happened, they got injured and they were the champion. And when they come back, they're going to come back and be like, oh, I only lost the title because I was injured. So just have it to where when they come back, you just unify. And if they're going to be out longer than just a few months, maybe don't do it. Like, if they're going to be out for
it got to be a vacate. It just makes it all
if they're going to be gone for a while, I would say, what is it, like, UFC, I think they do it, like, interim for a couple months and then, like, 3 UFCs, maybe 4 UFCs down the line. That's when they have the, like, it's a couple months. Interim champions, I like them, actually. I do. I know a lot of people don't, but I think interim championships works, and it's different,
Yeah, no, it's
Toni
definitely
Storm, it definitely winning.
Yeah. It's definitely, it sucks, obviously. Injuries, you never want to interim anything for any sort of reason. Someone has to go away for whatever reason. Never good, especially when it's your women's champion.
Yep.
And I feel like she's just been doing the best she can with as little as possible. To me, she just doesn't get the same love that a Britt Baker gets. Even Jade, I feel like Jade Cargill right now is slowly slipping away. I don't know what's going on.
Jade was going to be in the Fatal 4-Way. I really thought
just
potentially
double strap her up.
Yeah, well, maybe not win, but like,
why not?
Because
she still doesn't have a loss.
Yeah, no, she
hasn't lost in singles. She hasn't lost in any tags.
Like,
she's still got the 0 there, man. It's still their big thing for her. She can't get a loss on that.
She's also no. That's what I'm saying. Like, no, she doesn't be involved in the pin or the submission. She's just in the match, right? And they can still run with it, but she's been on TV more than Sheeta, Like, she's been on TV almost every single week, I feel like. So why not put her in the prominent role? And it's like, oh, she's going for 2 belts now. Now she's also undefeated, Like, what if they do put it on her? Like, what? But I'm all right that they didn't. I just thought maybe they could.
Yeah. No, it's definitely going to be interesting. I don't know where Jade even lies on this card coming up. I know we talked about there's no TNT title.
When is she going to fight Athena? That thing has been
telling you, it was
long.
Not. She was not planning to feud with Athena. She was not. She definitely. I'm telling you, it was supposed to be Chris Statlander. That's literally why I feel like they're just in like a weird because they were gonna do this 3-on-3 with Anna Jay. Then she turned heel and joined the JSA. Then they try to replace her with Willow. Like, they just try to do all this shit, and it's not working. And I think they genuinely know Athena's not it. I think they realized the reaction from Athena was not as big as, I guess you can say, a Toni Storm, who's still relevant and on our screens, obviously. I think that's what it was, and I think they realized we probably should have went with Chris Statlander, and now she's injured. and this all sucks. I don't know when she's gonna fight Athena. Maybe they'll just feed Athena to her at All Out at this point because there is like nothing going on.
Get your women's division together, AEW.
Yes, it absolutely needs to get picked up. As previously teased, we had a suspension that apparently is over. Sammy Guevara and Eddie Kingston had a bit of backstage issues after Sammy's Quake by the Lake promo where he just lit and roasted Eddie Kingston up. Eddie Kingston reportedly did take a legitimate swing at Sammy. Nothing really transpired too much after that, though. Obviously, have a breakup. I think Eddie was sent home. Hasn't been on screen for the last 2 weeks, I think is what it is. I think he's all set. I believe he will be back for Dynamite and maybe lead to whatever feud's going on. We have Ortiz and Ruby versus Sammy and Ty Conti tonight, which Eddie and friends, I guess I'd call it, because he's not Blackpool Combat Club. They're not Latin Pride, right? Like they're not LAX, like they're not really anything right now. So like Eddie and friends versus JSA is kind of still going on.
Yes.
Don't know when this is gonna end. It's been going on since before Revolution. And I don't think it's over. And I told you it wasn't gonna be over. They're tied right now 2-2. I told you they're tied right now 2-2. I think it ends at Full Gear, maybe. That's just have it end already. But yeah, Sammy apparently has had quite a bit of issues and stir up backstage. Apparently, all his future feuds and his future promos are not necessarily censored, but will be monitored a little bit more heavily. For he has received a lot of backstage heat recently with other wrestlers and other people. Sammy Guevara back there rubbing people the wrong way. He's a menace. Apparently he's a menace backstage right now.
Got the black Air Force Ones on 24/7.
How are you feeling about this legitimate heat and beef, which will eventually get on screen, which will make great, because Eddie Kingston is amazing on the mic, and when he just gets to cut loose, is going to be great. But how are you feeling about Sammy versus Eddie Kingston, real life, and then just what the fuck is going on with Sammy Guevara at this point?
I mean, that's just who he is, I guess. You know, I have nothing.
I thought he was this guy.
Apparently, they do. Yeah, and he wants what he wants. You know, like I don't know what you want me to say. The man is gonna be who he is at the end of the day, right? This will lead to a banger of a match between these two. I did see Kingston. He tweeted out like leave Sammy alone. Like it's happened. It's done.
He apologized.
It's over.
He's a man about it.
I think he said he loves him as well. I saw something about it. So the match is going to be spectacular. It's going to be hard hitting. You know, the first slap is going to like put Sammy on his ass. Like Kingston, he's not going to hurt him intentionally, but he's going to slap the hell out of him. And the promos will continue to be great. Yo, when do we get Eddie Kingston as world champ? Let's be honest.
I don't know. They have so much other things that they have to clear up this world title picture at the moment first before we can even think about who's next. I don't know what the hell's going on.
Who's next is Punk apparently.
He could eventually, you know, he might have a TNT title run in there. Maybe I don't really know where championship belts and Eddie Kingston correlate a lot, because he draws a lot of mixed reactions. Some of the older folk could probably, you know, go with him. He's a bit more of an old school style wrestler. You know, blurs the lines of kayfabe. Us, we love all the antics and the wild shit, you know. So he sort of for like a niche audience. Sort of not everybody loves him. Friend of the show, Matt. Whenever we first started talking, he's like, he reminds me of one of my bum ass cousins in Baltimore. Like, he didn't have a ton of love for Eddie, and then he had his Full Gear match, if I remember correctly, and you know, sort of coming along. But he sort of does fit.
Hey, he can do heel, he can do face. Kingston can do it all. Like, that man has range, and if he wants you to hate him, he's gonna make you hate him. And when he finally turns on Mox and them again, it's gonna be great. It's gonna be so good.
If that's the Full Gear feud, then I'm all for it. We can have Moxley versus Eddie. But I mean, we're gonna have to figure out where it all lines, because it seems like him and Claudio made up already. I don't know where him and Danielson lie, but I mean, We'll have to
Still
wait.
need that match.
We'll have to wait. We got it. We did get it at Full Gear last year, the World Champion Eliminator Tournament. But I know a lot of people would like that match.
Yes, revisit that, please.
Revisit that again. Definitely some shit to look out for. Hopefully, as we wait for the All Out card to continue to develop, make sure to tune in next week because we're going to be covering all that shit because it is All Out Dynamite, it is All Out Rampage, and then it's All Out. So like, they got a lot going on. And speaking of that week, the main big banger is going to be the Dynamite, which will be the first night, which will be our Dynamite or All Out Dynamite finals. Yes, for the trios title, we'll have the Elite, the Young Bucks, and a returning Kenny Omega. He is back, the God of Pro Wrestling. However you want him to, the 6-star, the match of the year, factory machine, whatever. And however you view Kenny Omega, some of you guys just fucking hate him. I don't know, you know?
Yeah.
However you feel, he is back.
Yep.
And cut a hell of an off-air promo on Will Ospreay, the Billy Goat, and the United Empire, which they will be at All Out Dynamite final for. That is going to be an absolute banger of a match. Will Ospreay and United Empire got a 5-star rating for their trios match against Death Triangle. According to Dave Meltzer, it was the best trios match in AEW history. Don't know how.
I mean, it was pretty good.
You guys gotta look around and watch it stack up on other things. But nonetheless, Kenny Omega's back. Will Ospreay's back on RTV. The Elite are back. Undisputed Era's scoping out in the horizon somewhere when all those guys are healthy. Trios champions will be crowned. On the other side, we have Best Friends awaiting the winner of tonight's House of Black versus Dark Order and Mystery Partner.
Yeah,
I smell some cowboy shit going on. But man, this trios title is absolutely gaining a lot of heat, as in not bad heat, like heat as in it's heating up. It's getting good. There's a lot of good matches. Death Triangle had a banger. Will Ospreay is obviously, if anyone's been paying attention to the last month he's had, Okada, Speed, Mike Bailey. He just has had another 5-star match. I think his Okada match was like a 6.5.
It was almost
625. 620.
It was 575.
There's just so much shit going on. And Will Ospreay is on our screen.
Yeah. Someone tweeted his last few matches, and I don't think there's been one under 4-star rated.
He's been on fire. And this verbal and internet feud with Kenny Omega that's been going on, who's the God of pro wrestling, who's the who got all the best matches, yada 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 yada. We about to get a banger to start All Out week with All Out Dynamite. How are we feeling about this? Let's start with the returning Kenny Omega. Just in general, the return.
Is he
heavily speculated?
Yeah. Is he fully? He's not fully healthy. No.
Absolutely not. I do not believe he's at 100%. I personally, I think he's somewhere in the 70-80 range. I think this was a good way that he was able to come, but I don't know. He took so fucking dive from Dragon Lee was insane. That was one of my favorite spots of the year, of the entire year. That dive, Dragon Lee clearing off and wiping Kenny Omega the fuck out. One of my favorite spots of the entire fucking year. Absolutely.
No, I agree, and that's why it's they got him in what looks like a padded shirt, right? And he got his braces on, his straps on. I was like, yo.
Knee super taped up this
if this man is still
80%, I'd say 80%.
Yeah. I guess trios is the best place to put him, so it's more people can catch him when he does a dive and keeps him out of the ring when a young buck goes in or stuff, but it's great seeing Omega back. Omega back on the screen, you're gonna get something said. Some move done, and he called out Will Ospreay not being able to fill his shoes, and that's on him for thinking he couldn't even think that Will could fill his shoes, right? And then, like you said, that spot with Dragon Lee, it's great to have Omega back. And whenever they do their feud with the Undisputed Era, because let's be honest, that's their name. That's gonna be amazing. And if it's for the title, I'm okay, but it probably doesn't have to be for the title for that to happen.
It don't. I'll get to what I think is going to end up happening next week, depending on how the bracket lines up. But I
let me
have a
ask
good
you
feeling
this.
on what's gonna happen.
The Elite and the Dark Order are on opposite sides, correct?
Oh yes, they are.
Yeah, there you go.
Oh yes, they are.
Yeah, that's what I thought. And then putting Page as that, it makes more sense for him. Like, I'm being their
I don't know yet.
corner,
What
cheering
if it's
them
-1?
on.
It might be -1. It's a mystery partner.
Okay.
Eh? Who
Yeah.
knows if it's
Okay.
gonna be
Yeah.
cowboy shit, man? I don't know about it.
-1. Nicholas
Why
didn't go
not?
over that well with the crowd. Come on, dude.
Why not? He just comes. Kenny Omega's wrestled little girls and shit. You think he won't wrestle a fucking 12-year-old kid? Come on now. Come
We
on
know
now.
we know what they're
Give
going for.
-1 as
However,
inaugural trios champion for AEW. Chef's kiss.
it's tough though, right? Like when we were talking about this a couple weeks ago with Matt, he was like, "What are the trios like?" And obviously, I only said a couple of them, but them showing us who they have as trios, and we know who some of these people are feuding with can be trios as well. Their trio division is pretty
Nice.
It's pretty nice. Yeah. Yes.
That's not to, what they obviously have trios titles in ROH, so there'll be some, they got some sort of functionality where they'll be able to have those titles defended and stuff. It's gonna
And
be
then even like
amazing.
Jay Lethal, Sanjay Dutt, and Homie, they could be in it as well. Like yeah, I like it. House of Black, they have a great team. Best friends,
I'm all for
they
that.
could be. Yeah, like
I'm all for House of Black versus the Elite in the finals.
We know like what they're going for. Well, at least what we think they're going for with the Elite and Dark Order because of Page and Omega. But what if Adam Cole and Undisputed Elite, they get involved somehow and get Omega's team out or Page team, both teams out, right? And then it's like, well, we both hate you, so let's just team up to take them on. But that's future. House of Black, they have a shot at winning. I think Best Friends, honestly, Best Friends probably have the best shot at winning this tournament.
Okay, I respect that. Quick spoiler: Heyman is so Dark Order's partner. They will be leading the final, and then I believe they will win. I think Dark Order will be crowned inaugural trios champion. There will be that elite makeup moment where Omega obviously hasn't seen Hangman. They will have their moment. They will hug it out. The Bucks will hug it out. And then bum rush in the ring. Undisputed Era.
Yep.
Just bum rush them in there.
With who, though? Because that's 3 versus 6.
Listen, they can come in with a chair or something like that.
Oh, there you go.
They're most likely going to be coming off of probably a 20-25 minute banger of a match.
Yeah.
They're all going to be fucked up. I could see it. Or just bring in a bunch of Bullet Club people. I mean, who gives? I mean, just keep it going.
No, Jay White and Adam
I will also go back. Exactly. Just bring in more Bullet Club. Because another thing, for Wrestle Kingdom this year in New Japan, there is rumors of AEW wrestlers being slated. I believe Kenny Omega and Bryan Danielson are 2 of the names that are reportedly. There's a potential they might be there. I think we're gonna get that Zack Sabre Jr. match out of Daniel Danielson, Daniel Bryan, whatever. He almost called himself Daniel Bryan the other night. He covered it up with the damn Daniel Bryan. It was so awesome.
It's too close.
But it's gonna be intense. We're going to cover more AEW. Obviously, Rampage tonight. Claudio versus the Natural Dustin Rhodes for the ROH title will be tonight.
How do you feel about that? How do you feel about this match?
I think it's random. I think they don't know what else to fucking do with Claudio right now, and they don't want to see anyone else. I have no idea. But Wardlow's wrestling fucking Ziggler's brother again. I swear to God, he just wrestled him like 2 weeks ago, but I don't fucking know. Maybe that was Takeshita that wrestled him, but actually, I think it was Takeshita that wrestled him on a Rampage before Battle of the Belts. But I don't really give a damn. I don't know what the hell they're going to do with all this belts or ROH, as we discussed off screen a couple times. What's the future of ROH going to be?
Knows?
Have had 2 pay-per-views, Supercard of Honor and then Death Before Dishonor. We'll be very interested to see what the hell is next for them. But transitioning on from AEW, we'll keep track of everything all out next week. Like I said, Dynamite, Rampage, and the actual pay-per-view itself. We shall transition on to WWE.
Which
lot going on here.
Going up.
We have NXT UK 2.0 going on right now.
Yep.
And what better place to start than that exactly? NXT UK has come in and is invading the Orlando facility. They're there.
Yes.
Bates is here. Gallows is here.
Yep.
Belair Davenport has arrived, and more. What is going to be the eventual outcome of this invasion? Obviously, we know Worlds Collide will be, I believe, it's on Sunday.
Yes. 1
Uh,
p.m. Eastern.
1 p.m. Eastern time on Sunday, so kind of like when they started Stand and Deliver this year.
Or 4 p.m. 1
I
p.m.
maybe
I think 4 p.m. 1 p.m. Pacific.
maybe. Yeah,
Maybe.
there's a lot going on down there, as obviously we're going to talk about the main roster in a little bit and stuff like that. But there's a lot going on right now being cooked up down low in NXT. How are we feeling about this? NXT Europe on the horizon.
I'm kind of sad.
At some point next year, but what are your why are you sad?
Why am I sad? It's the end of an era, bro.
It is. It is.
NXT UK is over, like you said. Europe is coming in 2023. This is fitting, though. You know, I told you gotta combine UK and 2.0, so you don't shoehorn all the stuff into NXT Europe and allow NXT Europe to start from the bottom. You know, if you have the UK champ go over there with the UK title, well, and it's like, so this is just NXT UK with a Europe name now. By doing NXT UK versus 2.0, it gives us that. Well, UK started with the black and gold. Black and gold's no longer here. UK's been, you know, it's been around, and not as I never really watched it because I can never remember that it was always on. You know, yeah, it's been around for a while, and it's good to see it end with unification.
Wild ass thing to think about.
Yes.
Wild ass thing.
Yes.
There's literally only been 4 UK champions,
and it started with Tyler Bate. And it ends with Tyler. Yes, it is.
Triple H, strong boy.
I would love to see him beat Braun. If I'm being honest, we're just gonna jump into that. Tyler Bate beating Braun, I think, is very much a thing that could happen because Triple H he put that title on Tyler Bate when he was 19 years old for a reason.
Anyone that's watched Tyler Bate from that point on knows this guy is still 25 years old.
Yes,
25, and has a chance of being in the WWE from 19 until he's
until he wants to call it quits. Yeah,
you know, we'll see how well he ages. But I mean, Mysterio's, you know, sort of similar body type, short, stocky kind of guy. He ain't going on. People about to push fucking 50, damn near.
And I mean, Tyler Bate don't really do any like crazy hot. Like he can, but he doesn't really do it. He's more technical, powerhouse, and I think he's winning that match. I want him to win that match. Should I say?
Early predictions for next Friday.
But
I love the idea. Because I am dying for Braun to be on the main roster. But I'm now seeing his main weakness is by far his promo skills.
Yes.
By far. The talent's there, the athleticism, the power, the speed, everything is there. Promo and character-wise is sort of where he's lacking, other than he looks like a Steiner, got the singlet like a Steiner, but he's really,
a breaker.
His biggest crowning moment, at least for me, obviously I've recently just coming back around almost a full year now that I've been watching wrestling. For me, but my big Braun Breaker moment is him coming out and declaring for fucking War Games when they did that. And at that point, he was, you know, like the heel of 2.0 versus the old black and gold transition. So he sort of went from this big, bad, strong heel character Steiner boy to, you know, I'm watching him truly develop now, but there's still a bit of a missing piece. I could see him probably down there for a year, which makes me think he's most
he got a Steiner it up. That's what everybody wants to see, is him get just a little bit more crazy on the mic.
Stop being so WWE for a second.
Yeah, in his promo with Tyler Bate, it was fine. You know, neither are gonna be the heels in this, bro. So yeah, you know.
We just laughed.
It is
at
what
that.
it is. Funny, it is what it is. You know, they're both faces. They're not gonna come out here and be like, "Oh, I'm better than you," and this is why. You know, it's not what they're gonna do. The thing that interests me the most, though, is I cannot wait to see the new titles for when they're unified, because you already know they're going for the black and gold with a plate that looks like the UK title. And I'm so for that. Can't wait to see the women's. Can't wait to see the tag titles, because that's supposed to be happening, right?
Yeah, no, for sure.
The women's is for sure happening. And then I ask you this: would you bring the Heritage Cup to NXT, or would you give that to NXT Europe?
I would give it to NXT Europe, and I would maybe find something else. I don't know how well the rounds match was displayed between Wes and Trick. I don't know if those were necessarily two of the best guys, but I mean, I get it. It was more sort of a boxing match than, but very similar rules, obviously, with the breaks and the intervals. I wouldn't mind it.
I would love to see it on NXT.
You have to. It has to be important, because what happens is, after a while in NXT UK, if anyone follows or watches, it sort of just kind of goes missing after a little while. Like, it kind of just poofs away, and then sort of random, like, I want the Heritage Cup. Like, it sort of come and goes. But I would absolutely love to see, give me Giovanni Vinci and Hayes going at it in something like that,
right.
Or give me an Apollo Crews, or give me one of these. Give me either one, probably Julius. I'm slightly leaning more towards Julius Creed over Brutus, but I do like Brutus. But someone, Roderick Strong, someone from Diamond Mine, a very technical wrestler that will make it really fun. The last Heritage Cup match that I seen was A-Kid versus Charlie Dempsey, which was absolutely spectacular. Shout out for Charlie Dempsey being on our NXT 2.0 screens with Chase U. Amazing. Whatever the fuck is going on there is so funny. I'm becoming a random fan of Chase U. I think the fact he curses out his students now makes it even better. But I'm all for the Heritage Cup, but I wouldn't mind it on both, unless you just want to make it a mainstay on 2.0 or just NXT, whatever the hell it's going to be, because who knows if 2.0 is even going to be in the name. You're thinking there's unification. There's going to be some new title designs.
Yes.
We'll see. They already kind of trickled in some title designs. There's like a little blue and like the pinkish colors in the women and men's titles. And then we saw the, obviously, unification of the Cruiserweight and the North American title that literally did nothing. It just made the Cruiserweight title just disappear. So I don't know if we're going to get new NXT titles and new NXT Europe championships. I could definitely see NXT Europe championships, obviously, for sure.
Yeah, I think NXT Europe, because you can't call it the NXT European Hope. I think just call it the European Heavyweight Championship. Like, that sounds pretty cool. Like,
the European Heavyweight
Championship. It sounds pretty cool. Did they do a Dusty tournament this year? Don't they usually do it early?
When
did they do it last year?
We had the women's Dusty tag team that was won by Io and Kaylee Ray. Kaylee Ray at the time. That resulted in nothing. The men's tag team Dusty was the Creeds winning.
Was that this year or last year?
They didn't do the Creeds were this year. They haven't had a breakout tournament yet. No breakout tournament yet, or Dusty single, whatever. No,
I was gonna ask you, with the Dusty tournament, does that stay NXT, or now that Triple H has come up, do you think maybe he tries to implement something like that on the main roster to get more tag teams featured, to try and rebuild the tag team roster? You know what I'm trying to go for? You know,
I would keep it in NXT just for the simple fact that you have to test the waters and see how it goes. Obviously, keeping it based in small center, get the crowd sort of behind it and stuff like that, and maybe drop it around. And we're seeing recently some more NXT championship reigns are being acknowledged and stuff. Eventually, when it goes up, like, oh, this is a former Dusty Cup winner, Dusty Cup tag team with a former breakout tournament winner, yada yada yada. I think NXT is a good place to start, because then you kind of get the casuals maybe being like, oh, what is that? What did he win? Sort of their version of King of the Ring, pretty much, in a sense. And maybe bring back King of the Ring, because
for sure.
might have to add some sort of
Drew.
incentive outside of fucking just the king crown and the fucking all that. Maybe,
bro, he's already got the sword. Give him his crown.
maybe bring King of the Ring and become #1 contenders or something like that at some point, instead of just Queen Zelina and King Woods and King Corbin and King.
They did nothing. Yo, after Zelina and Carmelo lost those titles, she's gone.
There was no point. There was literally no point. I think they're planning on bringing her back, maybe face. I don't know why she's been off our screens for so long, unless she's just going to get released. But I don't think Triple H wants to be releasing people right now. So I don't know. But it is one of those interesting. She's one of those interesting ones. But that's exactly what it is. After they split up and stuff, she's like, I'm still queen of the ring until blah 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 blah. I should be a #1 contender. Like, exactly.
Rightfully so.
Outside of I'm king or queen.
Yeah.
So maybe something like that. Bring 2.0. For 2.0, have keep the Dusty around and stuff like that. Have Cody Rhodes
the Heritage Cup. I like
Cody Rhodes for the Dusty and be like, hey, this is the Dusty Cup, and let him get emotional and cry and crown the winner and stuff. Maybe slip him on commentary for one of these Dusty matches. I think that sort of incorporates some of the main roster and stuff like that together. As we've seen, we obviously had Toxic Attraction, and then Zoe Stark and Nikita were supposed to be on our screens down from NXT. Braun Breaker had an NXT Championship match on our Raw versus Ziggler not too long ago. So maybe things like that to keep incorporating. I don't like calling it developmental because it is what it is, but there's a lot of guys out there and women down there that are better than what we have on the nation.
Yes, but at the same time, it seems more developmental now than it was previously. Well,
Black and Gold was totally different when you had
Black and Gold. That's a special
legendary
beast right there.
Legendary.
That's a special beast.
That final era was legendary.
Yeah, but like you said with Braun Breaker, he needs to work on his promos, but he's their champion because he is that good, And then we were talking about the UK members coming over and how it seems like if they are incorporating the UK members now, there's a lot of roster spots. Some people need to come up.
Yep.
We saw Legato. It looks like all 4 of them are coming up, and Toxic Attraction, they're probably due. With the UK members, the development is them getting used to the United States, right? Touring and going from Florida to Georgia to New York to maybe out west for a show here and there. I know they try to stay in Orlando, but sometimes they'll branch out, right?
Yeah, well, most recently, obviously, over the last few months, they've been doing more Florida shows, and they're actually back on the road again after all this COVID stuff and everything like that. So they are, touring around Florida at least.
And I mean, that is what NXT is for. Just having these people get used to what the main roster is like. And now that there's new people in charge of the main roster, your call up might not be as bad as what you once thought it might be, and that's great. That is very great.
100%. I agree. And you're going right along into our next topic is pretty much we have all types of returns and call-ups. Obviously, returning Bailey, obviously back on our screens against in SummerSlam, had her first match against Aaliyah out in Canada on Monday. Good to see her back. Io and Dakota Kai will be in the women's tag team final for the women's tag team belts.
They're going to be the champions.
Most likely winning. As soon as their match ended, I was like, yeah, they're winning. Like the win. This was the final. Whichever one of these teams were going to be crowned. But they will have a match at Clash at the Castle. So good to see they're basically being put on pay-per-view Damage Control. We'll see if that is the official name. We have a returning Karrion Killer Cross along with actually having Scarlett next to him, which is a nice it's good. I like the dynamic. I don't mind it. It's when you have sort of that chemistry with another person, like just taking your tag team partner off screen. Yep. It just doesn't feel right. So him actually having his wife with him that's literally been around with him this entire fucking run that he was in WWE and everything else. He almost signed I don't know if you saw, he almost signed a 3-match contract to go do bare knuckle fighting. He was actually going to go do bare knuckle fighting.
He probably would have beat the shit out of some people.
he was like slated. Like they had his opponent picked and shit like that, and then like WWE kind of called, but like he was legitimately supposed to be going into bare knuckle fighting. which would have been really fucking interesting to see because he was supposed to go to Control Your Narrative. Then he was supposed to be Wardlow's opponent in AEW, and then that didn't go through. And then they brought in William Morrissey.
I'm glad that didn't go through.
And then we had out of nowhere, shock return. Johnny Gargano is back on our screen. Then a few weeks before that, Hit Rose dropping bars. How are we feeling about these returns and obvious right now call-ups? And then when we end the show, we'll do some more predictions on other call-ups in the future. But how are we feeling? Triple H just came in. We've seen the Infinity Stone gauntlet going on, all the stones, bringing it. Dexter Lumis is getting arrested. And
you forgot he came back. Yeah,
there's just a lot going on. But how are we feeling about, everything Triple H has done with the call-ups and returns?
Index, that is the best thing that's ever happened, bro.
So was the fact that they did car all the way down to Florida? Was he in the trunk while Dexter?
No, maybe Dexter dropped him off somewhere and was like, "Yo, chill out here. Gotta go to my wife real quick." Yeah, I
can't wait to see what the Miz says on Monday about this. Considering he got arrested.
Should he even be there?
I think. Yeah, because he got arrested. I feel like, or are they gonna shoot vignettes of Miz chained up somewhere?
And
Ciampa has to go save him.
Yes, and he's gonna go to Johnny, and Johnny's like, "Oh, I can't control him, bro." And he's like, "Well, but he was."
We might have just sparked the storyline.
But yeah, no. When Johnny came back, the first thing that I thought is Dexter Lumis just trying to get rid of Miz so Ciampa and Gargano can be together again. I'm all for it, but
that would be some shit.
I do like the idea of Ciampa going and trying to find Miz. You imagine a Sherlock Holmes, the cat pipe, trying to find the Miz. But I really don't think the Miz should be there. I think maybe he's still they're still trying to find him. They're trying to get Dexter to talk, but Dexter don't talk, and he's never going to tell you where he's at.
Indy sneaks in as a detective.
But Indy knows, yes, they have a connection, and Indy knows whatever Dexter's thinking, right?
Cinema.
Yes, I'm all for it. And this right here is what the call-up, not even call-ups, callbacks, dude. The excitement that is felt for WWE now, and not even just with the call-ups, with everything, storylines. It feels like Kevin Owens has been brought back from the dead. It feels like, right?
Prize Fighter is here.
He had the match with Steve Austin, so I say back from the dead, but that was the first thing really KO's done in a while that anybody was that
championship is coming his way. I don't know what title, but the title got to be coming soon. Triple
H taking over. Thank you. I really feel like a kid again watching wrestling, and I get antsy. I just want to know what is about to happen. Dexter Lumis, dude got arrested. How man got arrested after he gave Indy the thing. I'll be back. Don't worry, I'll be back. He's gonna break out of prison. Carrying across the. It's not super spooky. He's more of your time's out. I'm gonna beat the shit out of you. When your time expires, I'm beating the shit out of you.
It's sort of the Chosen One story that he's going. Yes, because it is true. Drew literally was brought out by Vince McMahon. This is the next big thing. And then obviously we know how Roman Reigns went after the Shield split. We know how
this is the Chosen One.
The Chosen versus the Forgotten. And it just feels like I like this story. And I know everybody keeps bringing up the Adam Cole promo when Adam Cole just torches his ass apart.
It's Adam Cole, bro.
Exactly. It's a lot like Drew, prime example. Last time we saw Drew, he was in fucking 3MB, all right? He was doing Heath Slater, Jinder Mahal shenaniganry, and then was TNA Impact World Champion, and then brought this mystique and this aura. Zack Ryder was woo-woo-wooing, and now Matt Cardona is winning everyone's championship at this point. You got to give the guy the break after one sort of incident, so to speak.
Yeah. And no, with Drew as well, when he came back, he went to NXT first. And that Triple H was like, "You're going to be my world champion." Rightfully so. And then even when Drew got brought back up, he was immediately teaming with Dolph Ziggler.
Everyone teams with Dolph Ziggler.
He wasn't immediately thrown into the main. He had to work his way back to that. And that's when I think he turned heel for a little bit when he attacked Dolph or whatever. And he was like, "I'm going to do my thing." And then it led to his crowning at the Pandemic Mania. Man, never it doesn't feel like his reign really.
He didn't get a title run,
like with the crowd.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
If they have him win in his home country, because it's the United Kingdom and Scotty, geography, it's weird. Yeah, the crowd's gonna go crazy for it.
Exactly.
And what better way than him not to win and people just be like, oh my God, that is a douche move, but it will get Roman hated.
Yep.
Carrying can maybe be involved somehow in it.
The heel card. Everybody over in Europe will hate the fuck out of him for costing the Golden Boy a belt.
Yeah, but if Drew wins, I'm all for it as well because I know Drew McIntyre is going to do great work, and he's been a bit set free on the mic. It feels he's more like happy when he speaks now. Like he's just like, "What's up,
Speaking
Cleveland?"
about part-time champion and stuff like that. I get it.
And he's aggressive, right? Like you don't deserve this. Like you're not shit. I'm about to show you why you don't deserve this. And being attacked over and over again by Jimmy and Jay and Karrion and Sammy, like
he's facing Sammy tonight.
A lot, yeah. Drew has a lot stacked up against him right now, and it's like every story that's going right now. It just everything is interesting. It feels like
for the most part, yes.
But yeah,
one call up you didn't touch on Hit Row. How are you feeling about Hit Row?
Hit Row, I love the rap. I love that they come out and they cut off the male models, and there's a story there. Maxine came back out and was like dancing, and then Max, that's his name, Max Dupree. Yeah, he was like, "What are you doing? Like, come back." So
LA Knight return maybe under Triple H.
No, I think maybe Maxine leaves. I think Triple H likes LA Knight, Max Dupree enough to respect him because that man is good on the mic. He's good in the ring, and he doesn't need to be a champion. He's gonna do good regardless, right?
Right.
So him having Mansoor and Massey, like those three, they can work. Yeah, no. Do you remember when it started? You were like, "Oh, this is terrible." I'm like, "Yo, this is kind of hilarious." Like,
I have to see what the hell the in-ring product is gonna look like because if it fizzles out in ring, then like I want Massey to punch someone in the face and like. My nails, oh my God, my man. Like, you got to play into this whole, don't want to get hit in the face. Like, you have to play in. It's going to come down. Or, they're models that, when they're in the ring, they flip a switch and they're crazy ballistic. Like, that's sort of where it is. But on Hit Row, are you in the belief that maybe they need a singles guy? Because obviously Swerve is not around. Is it the singles guy? Great. Do you know what I mean? Hayes was being tied to them.
If it's not Swerve, I don't want it. If I'm being like, maybe they could eat. Okay, let me take that back. Brandy should probably be the leader. The leader. Those three, I guess, should be the leaders. They are called the OG3. That's what they call themselves. Yep. Swerve comes back. That's immediate top guy for them. That's their single star. But maybe they could get like Wesley or someone of that caliber to come up and not be the world champion, but go for the IC title.
The interim. That's exactly what Swerve is doing. He was North American champion.
Hey, I think Swerve I think he has world championship material. I really do. I think Swerve is great. I know a lot of people don't like him, but Mike and Ring, he's either going to get you on his side or you're going to hate him.
50-50.
I like Swerve.
I absolutely love Keith Lee, though.
Hit Row? Yeah.
His music is great. Like, who am I? I absolutely love it.
But Hit Row, they're just here to add to the tag division. Right. That mentioned it when we were talking about NXT. The tag division is the next thing that needs to be worked on, right? You have Jimmy and Jay, and they might not have had like the best run right now, and
we just got
What's going on?
Thank you for joining us. We're actually close to wrapping up here.
But Jimmy and Jay at the top. It makes sense, right? They're with Roman. Do they need both titles? Probably not. But it was given.
Are we getting title split at some point?
I think at some point.
It's not being hinted at for this. obviously. But like at some point, the Triple H just like, yeah, we gotta figure that out.
Yeah,
USA
it
not happy right now.
They're either going to unify all the titles that they have right now and then give a new set to whichever show doesn't have them.
Right.
But probably best just to split them. Just split them again.
Yep.
And that's what Hit Row coming back is for. Tag team. Masay and Mansois tag team. You know, the Viking Raiders, they look to be a little bit more serious now. You will always have the New Day. They will always be a legitimate team because everyone loves them. They have the teams. They just don't have anyone built to the level where it's like, yeah, they can take that title off them. If the way it is right now, it's like if you face them for the title, it's for both.
Yeah.
If they were like, okay, we'll face you, but we'll only put the Raw titles on the line because you're on Raw, right? Maybe they lose those and then they still have the SmackDown titles. But I just don't know any team that's going to take those titles off of Jimmy or Jay. And that's the next thing WWE needs to work on.
Of course. That's where everything sort of where Clash of the Castle ends. Will have sort of a lot to say.
Who is?
We'll give a sort of a preview, I guess, so to speak.
I guess that isn't even talked about yet. Who would Jimmy and Jay face at Clash of the Castle?
I don't think they're facing anybody right now.
Yeah, like the people I want is Sammy and KO, but it looks like it's gonna.
Did they have a SummerSlam? Yes. They faced a Street Profits at SummerSlam, didn't they? Yeah. They did that two pay-per-views in a row.
You know, we keep talking about Sammy and KO getting those tag titles, but it really does look like if that is in the cards, it's not gonna happen for a while.
No,
because everything that just happened with Sammy and Roman, we're gonna get a few more where Sammy is like getting in the head of Roman, like, yeah, well, they couldn't get across the border, and he's yelling at me, but like I took a super kick for him. He's just gonna continue going to Roman,
right?
And then he's gonna get caught up in a lie telling Roman, and then that's when KO's gonna come over and be like, "I got you, bro. Don't worry." It's gonna be great.
That story is gonna be something to see. Yes. Maybe Sammy versus Roman down the line at some point. That will be
Sammy winning, bro.
Oh God, Sammy getting that 2.99 pinfall after the Blue Thunder Bomb is gonna be amazing. You know when Roman kicks out at fucking 299 off a Blue Thunder Bomb or a Haluva kick, it's gonna be such a.
And then when Sammy gets that 3 count on him, bro, the wind, the arena, bro, the roof is not gonna be there anymore.
It'll definitely be dope. To wrap up the show, we're just gonna throw some names around. Obviously, we talked about earlier NXT 2.0 and UK. We talked about the returns and call-ups. There's a few more names, obviously, as spoken. Legado del Fantasma looks to be slated to come up. What show? I don't know exactly.
My guess is SmackDown.
Yeah, SmackDown feels like it would be the show for them to fit on. We'll have to wait and see. Toxic Attraction, I feel like might be about time, especially if Mandy.
They just had to be SmackDown as well.
That belt to get Mandy up out of there. Maybe just because we have Damage Control over on Raw, but there is no brand split at the moment. And then the draft speculation apparently is not happening. It looks like it's being pushed towards post-Mania. So maybe the Raw after Mania will be a draft scenario.
That would be good.
Or 2 weeks after, whatever. But it looks like the draft will be around Mania-ish time. That's the last time that I saw.
That's probably where they should do it anyways. Because after Mania, it's like, okay, we got a whole new year to build the Mania. What do we do now?
Exactly.
Let's revamp the rosters a little bit with
you get to set up Survivor Series for the future line. You'll get to be able to set up all your Money in the Bank contenders and stuff like that. Obviously, different people will be in different scenarios, different Royal Rumble opportunities, obviously. So I do like it sort of as a post Mania. Monday after Mania, obviously everybody knows. Exactly. Yeah. I think that is a perfect fit. Obviously, Damage Control. Yeah. Indy, we both believe Indy will be eventually called up in some line. Looks like Raw is most likely going to be the way to go. There's a rumor, especially early on this week, that was floating around that a Solo Sikoa potential call-up might happen. I texted you about that before I actually even knew.
Put him on Raw.
No, because he's probably going to be a member of the Bloodline.
That's why you don't put him on SmackDown.
Or
bro.
if you do something like just funny as fuck, like along the lines of he is on Raw and he runs into Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn, it's like, you look kind of familiar. Like you kind of look like some guys I might know. That could be something. I'm now leaning towards Cameron Grimes call up after he potentially lays over for Joe Gacy, sadly. But
SmackDown.
I think Cameron Grimes is a prime. We don't have anyone for Raw outside of maybe Solo.
I just said
Is there anyone else outside of the names after your Solo take that you think could also get a potential call up?
Carmella.
He's too busy right now being North American.
I understand that, but I could see him being called up after
absolutely. I would maybe, love it. I think him on Raw would be dynamite.
Yeah,
love that. Love him. He would have to stay with Trick just because they're so amazing together, and they got to do their barbershop skits and shit. They got
with Sikoa though, him going to Raw, there could be you're a part of the bloodline animosity towards him, but he's like, bro. I'm on Raw. I have nothing to do with that. Like they do their thing. I'm here doing my thing, and that can be like what gets him attacked, or he has.
That's why I'm on Raw. Like I don't want to be.
Yeah, put him on Raw. Cameron, he can go to Raw. I just feel like he'd be the SmackDown guy to feud with Gunther for a few, and then maybe he does something.
Which didn't happen. We didn't get to see that.
He could go and fight Ciampa. Bobby match with AJ, little impact right there, little impact reunion. I don't know. It just Raw feels like it has its roster right now, and it just feels like maybe
Cody
with SmackDown
returns and Randy comes back.
Yeah.
No,
it just feels like SmackDown needs a little bit more than Raw at the moment, even though SmackDown has the titles. Like you always see the titles on there, and they have. Sammy and Gunther's
Drew,
I can't remember his name. Yeah, but
Ludwig.
Him. And Cameron with Madcap seems like, or Cameron versus Baron, the whole I got money, Baron got money, who's got more money,
If that's even what they're gonna do when that's gonna be the interesting part.
Anybody else I can think of that can go to Raw? No, not right now. Anybody go to SmackDown? I don't know. You throw out a name, I'll tell you Raw or SmackDown if you want.
JD McDonough for me screams Raw. And I told you before, and I truly believe he will have a short NXT 2.0 run, a lot like Gunther.
They could do though.
They're gonna look at him and be like, all right, you know what, this he's fucking good. We know he's good. The crowd knows he's good. We changed his name, the same shit. We brought Gunther Walter and then put him in Gunther, like boom. I think JD McDonough, Jordan Devlin can have a very similar approach, and or our man Tyler Bate. I think there's a legitimate chance that if he doesn't become champion, he sticks around in NXT for a little bit, and then Triple H is like, all right, we are not going back.
He's going to Raw.
Yeah, you're not going back over.
Go to Raw,
Iljus will be back, and he can be the face of Europe again. But we need you up in here.
We need to see Tyler Bate versus Butch again, bro. We need that match to happen.
We need Tyler Bate versus Pete Dunne. I don't know who the fuck Butch is.
Those two. The thing with JD, I don't know. He definitely could go to Raw, but I don't know about him. He's definitely. I like his whole signing the contract with his blood.
Man's upside down shooting a whole vignette. Fucking psycho. I really wonder where, like, he seems to be getting some sort of a sick, sadistic character. It's playing a lot better than what the fuck Joe Gacy was doing early on last year.
He's more of a cult leader. Like the cult leader, it just comes back a lot. Like Bray, he was the cult, but like Gacy feels like the R word cult. I don't want to, religious cult.
That's something.
It's okay. Yeah, no, I just, people get weird when religion gets thrown around, but that's how it feels with him. He's like,
rebirth,
follow me, I'll show you the light. Yeah, and it's really just him brainwashing them, And
I will say, Grizzly Young Veterans, look-wise right now, they look the part of like
Yes.
these fucking Gibson, the bald one.
With the eye.
He looks crazy.
Yo, yeah, his
Shaved head and no
contacts are
beard.
crazy.
He looks like he just came out of like a psych ward. So I will respect Grizzly Young Veterans. Whether they wanted to do this or not, they're just all in for it, and they at least sort of look the part of these like fucked up, twisted individuals. Like they look that part a lot better than Harlan and Parker Bordeaux sitting back there just wasn't
Raw guy, Waller.
Oh, Waller, absolutely. He will
immediately
have Gargano line. He'll immediately have AJ Styles. You can have him backstage looking at Max Dupree like, who the fuck are you?
Right. I don't think that's about it right now. Yeah. If Waller doesn't get a world title run, which I think maybe he could. I think maybe Waller could be the one to take. Well, maybe not.
His on-screen pairing girlfriend thing that they sort of moved away from Tiffany Stratton, I think should be NXT Women's Champion at some point. I am slightly, I'm slightly leaning towards her more and more that I see her on my screen.
Wendy Chu.
Questionable decision on having her just like win that match. But when she came in and, she did her whole, little goofy thing, and she takes off the onesie and she's like, all right, we're having like a real fight. I'm like, there's the Wendy Chu I want to see. That's something I want to see more out of her.
Alba Fire.
She will be on the main roster at some point. She is a legitimate badass, and she will be on the main roster at some point, and she will put on some absolute bangers.
Agreed.
She will put on bangers. But yeah, Tiffany Stratton, Moonsault, Charlotte, Moonsault.
Yeah.
I think those are going to look pretty damn cool. That's just me, but that's going to do it for us on this fine Friday. Ranting about wrestling, talking about wrestling. We still haven't really figured out a title for this.
We talked about maybe half of everything that's happened.
Exactly. We're an hour and almost 10 minutes in now, and we've covered.
We can even go back to AEW and talk about more stuff if you
literally
want.
Like this could be like a 2 to 3 hour show. Like there's just so much that happens, so much to be covered. Like I said, next Friday, stay tuned. We're going to be talking, previewing. AEW's All Out while recapping the Dynamite show and previewing their also AEW All Out Rampage. We'll be doing Clash at the Castle preview, which will be amazing. We have a bunch of matches for that slated and a couple more to be added on eventually. And then, of course, NXT Worlds Collide. We just went on a whole binge, longest we've ever talked about pretty much NXT.
We didn't really even talk about most of it. Like we talked about the unification, but we didn't really talk about the women's match, triple threat. Who's gonna win? There's
literally
so much to still be talked about.
But next Friday will be the place for that. We should have our good friend of the show, Matt, on to give us his old head perspective. We love giving him shit for being sort of the veteran of our wrestling locker room. Hopefully at some point we'll get Ambition on the show at some point to come talk some football and some wrestling with us. Another perspective and try to get some more.
Another old head, let's be honest.
Another old head.
But he might fall asleep on here if we be
I might have to mute him like he's snoring. Hold on.
Right.
But all that and more next Friday. Wednesday, like I said, we'll talk any added Laker news. Donovan Mitchell and the Jazz, obviously still on the come up for that. Bunch of preseason games will be concluded. We'll be
college football is back, but we probably won't talk that much about it.
We'll probably start with the AFC over under next week, and we'll start giving our thoughts and reactions to that. I'll tell you what, though, Buffalo kicker or punter, does not look good for that motherfucker. He's not. He will not be punting. I think tonight. I think they play tonight. He's not playing tonight. They officially announced. We'll see. But like I said, all that and more next week, Wednesday, 6 p.m. Eastern time, Friday, 6 p.m. Eastern time. Mamba, let the fine folks at home know what they're supposed to do at this point of the show.
Like, comment, share, subscribe, notifications. I don't know.
Be here or be square. Everyone